Together, we're going to clean up the sport of boxing. It was beautiful.
You know what I mean? We shall never surrender.
There's a new national arena to follow the England football team, with the biggest seating capacity in the world. If you want to leap up and celebrate, you'll never block anyone's view. And the best halftime entertainment and instant video replays.
And this is possible because the new national arena is the BBC.
Bringing all 4 crucial England World Cup qualifiers live to your sofa. Match of the Day Live kicks off with Greece versus England, June the 6th on BBC One.
BBC One running a few minutes later than planned, with film comedy Matthew Broderick as the yuppie out on a limb in 35 minutes.
Welcome to Film 2001, where the movies do the talking. Well, I do some talking too, but you knew that already. In tonight's talk...
Because I love too much, baby. Thank you.
K2, the Wednesday movie. Wednesday at 9 on BBC Choice. It's entertainment, it's digital.
Whatever music you're into, find it at BBC Music Live Festival. Broadcast from Leeds, York and Bradford. Phone 08700 100 125 for more details.
Film comedy with Matthew Broderick out on a limb on BBC One after the holiday weather with Helen Willits.
Hello and welcome to our weekly look at holiday weather. Now we really have had some holiday weather across the British Isles this week, but whilst today it's been settled, it really has been pretty stormy for eastern Spain, France and the central Mediterranean. And it's here where we feature our resort this week at Palermo in Sicily. Now, this time of year, most of the rain comes from showers. You'd expect very few rain days late in May and early into June, and you'd expect the temperatures to be rising quite nicely, into the mid to high 20s as we get into June. That's certainly into the 70s and low 80s Fahrenheit. But of course, it's quite unsettled, as you saw, and those showers will continue for the first part of the weekend, gradually moving out of the way as high pressure builds. So promising a much drier weekend for the likes of eastern Spain, the French Riviera, many parts of France indeed. It'll take a little longer to shift those showers away from the likes of southern Italy and Sicily too, but hopefully later in the weekend it'll quieten down as those showers transfer into the Balkans, into Greece, northern Greece in particular, Turkey too. One thing that is for certain in the Mediterranean this weekend is some strong sunshine, 8 or 9 on a scale of 1 to 10. In fact, it'll be 10 in the Canaries, just about as strong as it gets. Across the British Isles, 5 or 6 too is about the strongest we see in this region. And temperatures are starting to rise in the Mediterranean too, so perhaps encouraging you to take a dip, 17 or 18 in the Western Basin, a little warmer at 22 as we head further east towards Cyprus. It's warmer still as we head across to the other side of the Atlantic. Around the Atlantic coast of Florida, the Gulf Coast too, temperatures in the water up to 25 or 26. It's still a fairly decent place at this time of year to visit for a holiday. Miami in southern Florida, the humidity's starting to rise, but we can expect temperatures up to 30 degrees Celsius. Quite a lot of rain though, because we're getting into hurricane season, and also there'll be some tropical downpours. And for the next few days, although it's been dry generally through the winter and the spring, there are the signs of a few showers across the southern tip of Florida in particular. Most of the unsettled weather, as you can see, carried further north and east, and also across the Pacific coastline too. Crossing back to our shores, the high pressure that's brought all the fine weather just recently is going to relinquish its grip. Slipping off into the near continent, allowing low pressure to roll in from the Atlantic, the increasing isobars meaning more wind and more cloud. The low pressure is always to the north, which means that's where we'll see most of the rain, and high pressure coast to the south should mean very little rain here. But it's not going to be bright blue skies and the heat that we've seen through the week. There will be rather more cloud around, for example, if you're heading off to the coast, Newcastle in Northern Ireland catching a little bit of rain and drizzle, as may Morecambe. But where the sun comes out, the temperatures will still be lifting into the low 20s, so it'll feel fairly pleasant. And I think at Wentworth, of course, it's the start of the PGA Championships tomorrow. I think here, although a cloudy start in the morning, there should be some fine weather around for play this weekend. Again, not as sunny as it has been. Now, during Saturday, we'll have a weather front stationary in many western areas across northern England. That'll start to break up with time, brighter and drier the further south and east you are, and brighter over time to the northwest, but more cloud and rain will spill in later in the day, pushing its way across many parts of Scotland through Saturday and into Sunday, Saturday night into Sunday, before more rain then comes into the west later in the day, some heavy rain too. And then as we move into Bank Holiday Monday, it looks like a fairly wet day across Scotland, Northern Ireland and Northern England. I think always the further south and east you are this Bank Holiday weekend, the drier, the brighter it will be, and in the sunshine it really will feel quite warm. In fact, there'll be increasing amounts of sea fog around the coast, so quite a muggy feel by the time we get to Bank Holiday Monday. Goodbye.
The victims were alive when their tongues were removed.
Now, what kind of wacko's that?
A serial killer is on the loose.
The victims are found with silver teaspoons in their mouths.
Each murder,
There's been another one!
a new method.
If it didn't involve an even greater loss of face, I'd take you off the case immediately.
Ken Stott,
And we keep the lid on this, and we stop it. Understood?
Messiah.
Killer got the wrong guy. The killer hasn't got anything wrong so far. How do you know that?
A two-part thriller. Starts Saturday at 9:05, BBC One. Pray you're not the next victim.
And the writer of Messiah, Boris Starling, is on Breakfast tomorrow on BBC One from 8:30. We're running a few minutes later than planned tonight on BBC One with a yuppie having a really bad day, going out on a limb.